Hello, and thank you for contacting Wave Support. I see from your clinical request you're struggling with a lens that seems to be moving quite a bit on the eye, and you're looking for a way or some tips on getting that lens to not slide around as much. Well, just a quick couple comments on the design. If we look first at topography, I'm looking at this upper topography. One of the things I always try to do is if I have multiple images, I look for the one that has the most corneal data. And so one of the things I might even consider in this particular case is to lean more towards image number 4, because you do have a little bit less loss of data out here in this peripheral area. With that said, centrally they look very similar. I did notice you get a little bit of a ridge here. I suspect that maybe this patient is a former gas perm wearer. If that's the case, sometimes what I like to do is get them out of their lenses for a few days just to make sure that cornea can relax a little bit. This almost looks like they had a previous lens sitting kind of high here and kind of create a little ridge here. So I end up with wave lenses that are very accurately fitting on an inaccurate cornea. Now assume if we forget that for just a moment and assume that this is a true corneal topography, a couple things you can do. If we look at your design actually looks pretty good overall. But if you remember when we look at these quad views down at the very bottom, the right lower view is the simulated cornea, or that's the topography that Wave recognizes. The lower left is what the back surface of that lens looks like. So and quite often if you have a lens that's not sitting very snugly on the eye, especially in these multifocals that you want to center well, we like to get this back surface of the lens looking a little closer to the front surface of this cornea. If we look at the actual meridians, principal meridians, vertically you got a little bit of a downturner here that hits out at the very outer edge. And then you've got a little bit of a lift in the lower quadrant here. So with that little difference between the meridians here in the 9 o'clock radii, you've got this kind of edge lift, but you don't have as much down here in the 3 o'clock. It's kind of a downturner. So if you can get this lens, this back surface lens, to more closely match the corneal line, the green line, throughout the entire design, you'll get a lens I think that centers or stays a little bit more stable on the eye. Again, that's based on a topography that's true to the cornea. So the easiest way to do that is just click over to Freeform. And even though we think about Freeform more for displaced corneas, quite often you can get a little bit nicer looking lens. In this case, I just clicked on Freeform and let the design tool hit current settings once again and let it design the lens. And now you'll see a lens where that back surface very closely matches that. And if you look at this lower left image, the lower left image is much closer to the appearance of the front surface of the cornea. So that suggests that lens matches the eye a little bit more like a glove, and I think getting a little more consistency around the clock dial here with the peripheral landing zones in this newer design compared to the original design where you have a little bit of up and down action in that landing zone. I think this new design in a freeform modality will get you a little bit more stability on the eye. Once again, don't forget the importance of that nice topography, as much data as you can capture. And again, what I like to do in those previous lens wearers is to have them out of their lens for a day or two before we get the topographies. And quite often what I'll do in that case, if I'll have the patient just stay out of their lens on Saturday and Sunday, and Monday morning I'll have them get a quick topography on their way to work, so that way I have a fresh design. So anyways, I hope this is helpful information for you. I thank you for contacting Wave Support, and have a great day.